Hello, I'm Calm. Welcome to another video. This one carries on from my two previous videos from the budget build series. In part 1, Complete Budget Builds 2019, I suggest 3 budget builds, explain basic parts, compare and suggest alternative components to increase the performance of these 3 modern budget builds. In part 2 is the budget build assembly video. In this one I show you how to put all the parts together, in the easiest order I believe. Where all the wires connect, what to look for in order to make the build easier, along with an annoying wink and catchphrase, just to drive home how easy this can be. As long as you overlook the spaghetti of wires, just relax and think about things logically. If you are thinking of buying a PC or building one, I encourage you to watch my 2 previous videos before you start buying parts. Also watch them in full. There's important information in them that maybe you haven't thought of, especially if you're new to all of this. I've updated the links on Amazon with some more alternatives, tips and suggestions. I do try to simplify things and break them down, which makes my videos long sometimes. This is not always a bad thing. If you haven't got time, just pause, return when you do. There's no problems in doing this. I've made mistakes, watched other YouTubers make mistakes. Hopefully by watching these series of videos you won't. Don't forget to like and subscribe, particularly subscribe and encourage other people to do so as well. I am new to this scene and I need your support. Right, that's it for the speech. In this video I want to show you how to update your BIOS, or UEFI it's called now. This process does slightly change between different manufacturers of motherboards, so I'll show you where to look for this information as well. We'll be updating chipsets and drivers, look at your RAM, make sure everything's running properly, install Windows, update the graphics driver for the Ryzen 2400G. It's just had a big improvement, it's running a lot more smoother. We need a couple of things to do all of this. We need the use of a PC, the internet obviously, and 2 USB memory sticks. One stick needs to be at least 8 GB to create the Windows 10 installer stick. Please note that everything will be wiped from this stick, so make sure you've saved any files that you need, because the whole thing will be used regardless of its size. The other USB only needs to be small really, or it could be your current USB stick. It only needs room for a couple of files which you can delete again later. The Windows 10 USB stick will be good to keep. With it you can fix your PC if it gets corrupted, problem solve with it if your PC gets infected, or you can use it to help other people. Let's start by putting the larger USB stick into your PC. Open up your web browser and type Microsoft Windows 10 download in the search bar. Check the search results and make sure the link that you're going to select does just have www.microsoft.com at the beginning. Click this link and you'll be redirected to the Microsoft web page. Make sure again that it does just say www.microsoft.com in the top left hand corner along with the padlock. Click on the Download Tool Now box, then select Run. A Windows 10 setup box will then appear. Give it a minute and a Terms and Condition box will then appear next. Read this if you want, or just click Accept. This will take another minute or so, and a What do you want to do now box will appear. Change the radio button to Create Installation Media, then click Next again. Double check that the next setup box displays the architecture, that it's set up for 64-bit, and then click Next again. Select USB flash drive on this screen, then click Next. If you've inserted your USB stick, it will be displayed on this next screen. If you haven't, pop it in and select Refresh, and it should now be displayed. Click Next again. This next step will take a while. Windows 10 data is now being installed on the USB drive, so speed is dependent on your internet and also the speed of the drive itself. The next screen will be verifying and creating, where it scans the information and writes it to your drive, and the last screen will be your USB flash drive is now ready. Click on the finish and wait for the window to close. When done, close your browser. Click on the little upward pointing triangle in the bottom right hand corner. This is the Show Hidden Icons box. Click on Safely Remove or Eject Media, then click on Eject USB flash drive, and then you can remove it from your PC. Pop in your other USB drive now and open your browser again. Type in Gigabyte Motherboard Drivers, Again, just double check you've got the right link before you click on it. It should be www.gigabyte.com. We're looking for the /support option if it's there. So if you click on this, it should take us direct to the support page. If not, just select service, then the support tab from the top middle, I think it is. Type in the motherboard model and select it from the drop down list. This page now shows you all the software, old and new, for this motherboard, including all the drivers that we will update later on. You'll also find links here for manuals on this site also. I'll come back to this page a little bit later. All I want to do for now is download the new BIOS file so we can update that before we install Windows or any other software. Scroll down and select the BIOS. Here we can see there's already 4 versions of this file. The latest one is at the top if you check the dates. F4 is the latest. It also shows what has been improved under the description column. There are different locations to download this from, so just pick your nearest location. In our case it's Europe, so I'll click on this and the options box will then appear. Select save from this option and this will appear in your downloads folder on your PC. That was quick. This is because it's a zip file, which means that the data has been compressed or shrunk to save space by a special program. Now press X to close this window and then click on the X to close the browser. Open your files and select the download folder. Here we can see the zip file we've just downloaded. We need to uncompress this file so we can use it. Right click on the file and select extract all. This will unshrink all the data to the normal volume and size. A box will appear asking where to extract to. Just select extract so the files will decompress in the same folder. These 3 files now have been generated. I am going to copy all of these to the USB stick. So right click on your USB drive from the access area, select open in a new window. This will open a window for your USB drive. Make sure that USB drive is in the root directory and not inside any folders. Right click and highlight the 3 files in the other window. Release the right button. Now left click and drag all the files over to your USB drive, or you can just copy them one by one individually. Once copied, eject the USB drive as before, take out the stick and now delete all these files from your download folder. Hook up your keyboard, your mouse, your monitor and put in the USB drive containing the BIOS files. If you've already installed an SSD in Windows but you want to know how to update your BIOS, press F2 while the system is booting. This will take you to the same menu. On some motherboards, the BIOS or UEFI menu is accessed by hitting the delete or the backspace button. If you haven't yet installed an SSD or Windows, this is great. This is the way that I want you to do it. So boot up your system now. When it posts, you will see this screen. Click on the Systems tab to display this menu. From here we can see the older versions of the BIOS, F2 in this instance, and the date it was created. Language, date and time can be altered here now too. If you click back onto the MIT tab and select Advanced Memory Settings, it will show you the frequency of the RAM. In this instance it's 2666 MHz. This is correct for the RAM that I've bought and installed. If you have higher frequency of RAM than displayed here, you can select Extreme Memory Profile for this to be enabled, and it should give you an option to select a new frequency for your RAM. From the Peripherals tab you can access the RGB fusion options, which is limited on this board, but I'm not really into RGB. If you press Alt, this displays a Help tab where you can select Easy Mode, Q-Flash and a few more options. We're going to select Q-Flash here with the mouse to update the BIOS. It's all I need to update here anyway. Here we can update or save BIOS. We're going to update. Select Update. The system automatically looks for the USB drive and searches for the files. You can see the new file F4 is displayed. Click on this and it will populate in the yellow area below. Press enter. It will now display the current version of the BIOS F2 in the top left and what you want to replace this to below this, which is F4 below it, and the option to press start to the right of these. Before you do this though, I have to warn you that it takes a few minutes and you must not interrupt this. Do not turn off the power or take out the memory stick whilst this process is happening. If you do, it can ruin the motherboard. Select press to start. Apologies for the quality of the video here, but it's hard to capture without the proper equipment. This process takes a little time, but once completed, the PC will automatically reboot itself and load the new BIOS file. When it's rebooted, press F2. This will take you to easy mode. You can now see the BIOS is updated to the F4 version. The speed of RAM is correct, for my kit anyway. You can see that I've already installed an M.2 on this screen under the boot sequence. Go back to the system menu and update the time, the date, etc. if you haven't already. Check under the chipset tab to make sure that the integrated graphics is set to auto. Go to the Save and Exit tab and select Save and Exit Setup and then click Yes. When rebooted, turn the system off, take out all the leads from the PC, press the power button on the front of the panel a few times and walk away for about 5 minutes. This will allow the electricity to drain from the PC. Connect your new SSD now, nothing else. If you have a couple of SSDs, only connect the one that you want to install Windows on, your boot up drive. If you are unsure how to do this, check my previous video, the assembly video. And now, insert the larger Windows 10 USB drive. Reconnect all the leads, plug in your router and reboot the system. If you've connected an SSD that's been previously used, it has Windows on it, the system might boot from this. If it does, you'll have to reboot the system and then press F2 to get to the BIOS menu and then change the boot sequence to the USB stick and then press Save and Exit and reboot again. If it's a new drive, the PC should boot from the Windows 10 USB stick automatically. If it doesn't, do the same sort of thing. Prioritise the USB drive in the BIOS screen, save and exit and reboot. I have already installed Windows 10 on my son's PC, so I'm going to go through this sequence on my old laptop. Apologies for the quality of the video here at this point. I had to take pictures of the screen using my phone. It is basically the same process though, but to enter my BIOS screen on my laptop I have to press F12 a few times while it boots. Look at this first screen, how things have moved on, eh? Here I'm selecting the boot option. Make sure you have the correct language set up on this first screen. Press next. Only option on this next screen is to install now, so select this. I will just point out the option to repair your PC is on this screen as well, so use this in future if your PC gets ill. You will then be asked to input your product key. Select I do not have a product key on this option. You can update that later. I will link to the description where you can purchase a cheap OEM license from, and we'll go through the activation later on as well. Now select which version of Windows you want or which one you intend to buy, Home or Pro. Highlight this option and then click Next. Next you have the terms and conditions screen, so tick in the box to accept. Then Next. Next select the lower option, Custom Install. This is the only screen that's really awkward. If you are reusing a drive, you will have different partitions which we need to remove. If you notice, these are all on the same drive, which is 0. This is what we want, drive 0, we want it complete. If you have different drive letters displaying here, this means that you have another drive attached. This is why I said unplug all of your other drives. There are reasons for this. Number 1 being, we do not want to get them mixed up. Number 2 is we do not want our boot drive dependent on another drive, which can happen. If you have 2 drives and your boot up drive is drive 1, not drive 0, the drive that is listed as drive 0 will have a file created on it to allow drive 1 to boot up. We do not want this. If this is the case, then stop everything. Cancel, shut down your system and either swap over the SATA leads or take out the drive completely and restart. Otherwise, select these partitions one by one as I am doing and delete them. You will notice as you do this, they will change to the unallocated space. It will increase. Continue to delete until we get up to 1 unallocated space on drive 0. Then click Next. The PC will take over and do its own thing for a while. This will take quite a little bit of time. Next it will reboot and a get things ready window will appear. Cortana will be next. Silence her voice by selecting the microphone in the bottom left hand corner. Next it's just settings, so select the country for you and yes again, do the same. Add a new layout or skip new layout for the keyboard. You'll then come to a sign in with the Microsoft screen. If you have an account, you can log in using your details. I suggest you do this. I'm going to be putting my email address in. You can select skip this option by selecting an offline account and then next again if you wish. Wait again. Create a pin will display if you've entered a Microsoft account. So select make a pin, that's what I'm going to do. You can include numbers etc. if you wish, or cancel if you don't want to do this. More waiting again. Next it's link your phone if you want. I'm skipping this by selecting do it later. Skip again for OneDrive by selecting only save files to this PC. Next again. Declining Cortana again. It's pretty much no and next for most of the options here. History, voice, location, find my device, diagnostics, basic typing, no to tailored ads, no to apps, no, and wait a while again. Finally it will boot. Type in updates in the Cortana box in the bottom left hand corner and select Windows Updates in the settings. Then select check for updates. Just let your computer have a free run and let these updates happen. Some of them will take a while depending on your broadband speed. A reboot is necessary for some of them to install, so when prompting to do this, just do it. And I'm not kidding you here, go through this process about 3 or 4 times, and if it says reboot, reboot. You want to get to the stage where you click the update and it says your computer is up to date or no files need updating. Now go back to the Gigabyte website and select the chipset. The latest one was created on the 5th of March 2019. Check that it's for Windows 10. It should be, being it's the latest one, but it's always best to check. Select Europe to download from, but instead of saving, select Open. This will take a little while. When complete, the download box will open automatically. Click this folder and it will show the files within it. We can see a setup exe. Exe stands for executable. Double click this and a software wizard or something similar should run. Select accept and install and let the software do its thing. Here the wizard is ready to install the latest version. Select install and then express install and then just let the software run. At the end we have the option to close or restart. In order for the software to install we need to restart, so select restart now. Just make sure that if you have any programs open or any windows, just shut them down first. Once rebooted, do the same for the audio driver. Make sure you have the right file, Windows 10 and the latest date. Then select the location to download from again and then open, wait for the download to complete. When the window is opened, double click on the folder within it. The setup program should be inside there somewhere. Scroll down and here it is, setup.exe. Double click on this to run it and this should start another wizard. Select next, wait, then make sure the radio button is populating yes, I want to restart now, and then select finish. Once rebooted, the wizard will start automatically. It is now ready to install the new driver, so click next again and let it do its thing. We wait. It will ask for a restart again to complete on the install. Make sure the radio button is in the right option and click finish to reboot. Do the same process for the LAN driver and for any of the other utilities that you may want. There's links here to the manual. The support list here gives you access to the list of tested and approved RAM kits. There's a frequently asked questions section here, and under the subheading at the top you have the board specs and key features. Most of the manufacturers' websites follow this same format. Windows 10 is great for updates. I go to the Intel website as well, just to be sure. I have installed a Wi-Fi card containing Intel products. Intel have a great tool to download to check for drivers. Open your web browser and type in Intel, then enter. Select the Intel Download Center from the search results. Select Get Started on the right hand side. This links to the driver and support assistant with the download box also. Select Download. Tick the box for the terms and conditions and then click Install. I'm going to decline this offer of collecting information, The software will take a minute. Select launch when it appears. The program then scans your system. It has picked up that there are 2 new drivers for some of the hardware, one for the wireless part and another for the improved Bluetooth connectivity on the wireless card itself. I'm going to click on the wireless, update available. This has now displayed the latest and installed version. I'm clicking on update available again. It now shows that this update is from the 6th of March 2019. Click download, give it a minute while it downloads. Another option appears to click install, so click install and wait while it processes again. It will eventually display this screen advising that a reboot is required. Click on this or close and reboot the PC. Once rebooted, go back to the same site and click on update available for the Bluetooth part. And again, then click on the download button. 6th of March this was updated too. Once downloaded, click on the install now button. A wizard will appear. Click next and then next again. Tick the accept license agreement. Next again. This will take us to the setup. Select typical from these 3 options and then install. Soon a box will display stating completed. Select finish. The assistant will scan again and confirm that you are now up to date. If it does actually state reboot required when you do this, then just reboot. I am going to check for Windows updates again. What a surprise! More! I will reboot this again when it completes. Finally, I am going to update the graphics drivers for the 2400G. So open your web browser again, type in AMD Radeon drivers. From the search results, select this AMD drivers and support link, checking that it does actually start with www.amd at the beginning of the web link address. Once loaded, you can either search or just select the information from these drop down boxes below this. This is my preferred option. Select processor with graphics, AMD Ryzen processor, AMD Ryzen 5 with Vega graphics, and finally 2400G at the end. Then click submit. They have updated their graphics capabilities on the 6th of March for this, more recently than the chipset drivers from the Motherboard site. If you are installing a graphics card, make sure that you do go to the graphics card site for their latest drivers. Select download and then run when the box appears, and wait. A security scan will run, then an install box will appear. Select install and wait again. This will take a little while. A license agreement will eventually appear. I am going to select accept on the express install. Let it do its things for a while. An installed box will appear with an option to restart now. Select this. On reboot, the driver itself will install. After this, a note from AMD will appear. You can register with them if you so wish. Once back at the desktop, if you want to look at the software that was installed, click on the upward triangle in the bottom right hand corner, double click on the graphics icon and the software will load. Use this software for updates or the other options to check up on your setup. That's all the software installed and updated. It's all up to date now, so you can start installing your games and enjoy your new build. I will follow up this video with some of the best free applications to install on a new build, so watch this space. I hope you found this video helpful or interesting. Show your appreciation by hitting the like button. Leave a comment below with any suggestions you may have. Remember, I am new to this and I need your support. So please subscribe and hit that notification bell for new videos when I upload them. If you know someone new to computers, share my videos with them please, or point them in my direction. I do have a few learning videos that are very basic for people new to the scene. I tend not to focus in one complete area, and I will have other things to offer. I am Calm signing off. Thanks for watching. Have a good morning, afternoon or good evening. Farewell till next time. I'll see you later.